Well, hello, YouTube. It is me, your favorite indie author. Or maybe your favorite indie author? Maybe top five? Top 10? I would take you. Listen, I would take it if you've read my books. I'm glad you're here. I'm not that conceited. I'm just having fun. Every single intro is different. I don't have an intro. I wing it. I wing everything in my entire life. Anyway, welcome back to books that I've read in the last while with Lady Mac, author Chris McIntyre. I'm an author, but I am not talking about my books, so please stick around. Although I love when you stick around for my books. I have stuff to share with you today of this past while. I know the microphone is right dead center in the camera, and I thought that was kind of cute, but also it might be distracting, so please let me know if you like that. I normally do books that I've read every month. I hopefully going into the new year will continue with that little segment that I do. In a good life, I'm a pretty quick reader, 2 to 3 books a week. Sometimes I can average a good stack a month, but not always. And in the past handful of months, I have backburnered reading, which is my absolute favorite hobby, because I've gone back to school and I'm super focused on my education and some stuff on my business, and I'm sleeping, which is a big thing. I use reading like 9 times out of 10 when I can't sleep to just fill that void of sleeping, which is fun. But also, yeah, so I'm sleeping and so I don't read a lot. And in the last little bit of 2024, I had taken a bit of another break from social media, but this one was intended because I dove into school and was pivoting and making really big changes and just kind of stepped away from a lot of things, but intentionally. So I intentionally did not do a books that I read in November or December because I was just going to compile them all. Oh no, maybe I did do a books I read in November. It doesn't matter. Anyway, these are just books that I read at the end of 2024. Because yeah, I've just realized I don't actually know if I made a books I read in November or not. I feel like I didn't. Maybe you can go check my channel and see if I did. I have a very large book collection. You can also just have a quick scroll and see that for yourself. I hoard books, but whatever. So my reading style and genres are all over the map. So when I do these too, they can vary from young adult to educational to biographies to horror to smut to whatever. So that's that also. But there's only one that would be in that smut category, and I'm going to put it at the end for obvious reasons. So all of that being said, this is what I managed to do and read at the end of 2024. Here we go. And I'm going to share them with you one by one and my hair is caught under them. My hair is a nightmare right now. So one of these days I'm going to come back on this channel and it's going to be cut. Okay. It's really long. This is all real. It's starting to get to the point where people that don't know me will be like, oh, that's actually real. Yes. All of it. And I'm not going to like do anything drastic, but also I might do something drastic, or I'll probably just cut my bangs back because I do have bangs. I did have bangs. If I don't maintain them, they disappear very quickly because my hair never stops growing. Okay. I'm going to get some heated opinions for this, but I don't care. I'm sharing it anyway. I hate this book series. That's it. This is book 2. I read it just because I was really like, maybe it'll get better. Y'all love this series. This is just why I'm a little worried. But also, I'm saying this as an adult. Knowing this is a young adult series. Knowing that most of you read this as a young adult. So that's okay. And if you reread it again as a grown up and you love it, I'm not judging you because I frequently reread the Wrinkle in Time series, which I have already also discussed so much about on here that I'm scared to even say it, but I do. Whatever. Reading this as an adult is not only very difficult, but in my last book review, I did say, so if you haven't, this might be a spoiler, but also you need to know this going into this. Okay, I'm a Star Wars girly, all right? So I'm reading this book and it is giving me crazy Star Wars vibes. Which is fine. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. But the tension between the guy and the girl, I'm like, how do I see what's coming here? And how do I say this or that? They kiss, and then they end up being brother and sister. But apparently, later in the series, there are half brother and sister, and then they're still gonna, like... And I know my smut girlers are like, yeah, but no, it's not smutty. It's just weird. And it's... Okay, it's... I don't know. It reads like a young adult novel, and I'm starting to realize that there was a time and a place for me to read young adult novels, and it isn't anymore, which is weird because there's some that I love and do frequently read, like the Wrinkle in Time series. And I read a bunch of like younger kid books earlier last year with my youngest. We were reading through some books, and I actually enjoyed some of them, but I've read them before. Is that the thing? Maybe I'm having a moment of realization here. Like, it's because I've read them. And anyway, we're gonna test this because not this year. So for those of you who've seen my bookshelf reveal video, or if you haven't, you can go watch it. I have a shelf, a bookshelf, not one shelf, like a bookshelf, a multi-tier bookshelf that is dedicated to books that I would like to read this year. And I just update it accordingly. So it's not on there. So for next year, so 2026, I might put the Twilight series on there because, fun fact, your girl here has never read the Twilight series, and I've never watched the movies, but I've watched enough spoofs to know that this is the skin of a killer, Bella. And the whole, like, yeah, so, and like lots of other jokes, but I've never read the books or watched them. So I'd like to, but I'm kind of worried now that this is like my 4th or 5th young adult series that I've tried to tackle in the last few years as an adult that I have said no thank you to. But I don't know, maybe it's because this one just screams Star Wars to me. Maybe it's because I just don't really like the storyline to it. I don't know. I don't know why it's not doing it for me. It's not a bad book. Okay, I need that disclaimer out of the way. We can have personal opinions. People don't always like my books. I don't always like the books I read. There's a book that I'm about to DNF, my second book of 2025, because it is garbage. But I say that, and I'm going to share it in my books I read in January video, just because I have read and shared other books by the author that I thought were great. It is not really like I don't like the author or like anything personal. It's just certain books some people don't like. I don't like the I didn't even say it. It's the City of Ashes book. It's the Mortal Instruments series, the City of Bones. No thank you. No thank you. No thank you. Anyway, moving on. Okay, moving on. I gotta make sure I'm looking at you guys. You see me, I see you. All right, good, great. Let's do another young adult. I actually didn't mind this one. And I got a little heat on my TikTok because I guess I didn't clarify. I made a TikTok about this and I was like, I was expecting it to be spicier. It's a young adult. And then people were like, you were expecting a young adult to be spicy? No, I didn't realize it was young adult. I thought it was a spicy romance about a girl and the Grim Reaper. I was wrong. Okay, Belladonna. But also, I actually enjoyed it. For a young adult. Like, very quickly into it, I was like, oh, all right, this is not what I thought it was. But I liked it, right? So some young adult I like. Anyway, I liked it. It is about a girl who can't die. And she is quick to realize that the Belladonna berry brings this state of almost death that brings in the Grim Reaper, and they kind of have like they do like hook up by the end of the book, but like I say it's like no, no, this is like you could let your older teen read this, depending on how you filter what your kids read. I probably would have got my hands on this at 11 years old, but that is neither here nor there. All right. There is a second book in the series. I'm going to read that as well. She's an orphan, and growing up, like, everyone around her basically dies. And that's how she finds out, too, that she can't, and that death, like, the Grim Reaper surrounds her. And this book is about her trying to sort of figure out all of that. So I liked it. I would suggest reading it if that sounds interesting to you, knowing it's a young adult, which I did not. It was pretty good. I read The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, simply because I finally had a copy of it and I wanted to read it. There is a whole massive bookshelf back here behind me of like cult books or historically like number ones or anything like that. And if I didn't read them in high school, I've been picking my way through them slowly. And I didn't read this in high school or anywhere around that. I watched the movie years ago before I knew it was a book. So that kind of made me a bit biased. And I guess I thought it might be a little scarier, but it was good. Especially for like its time and all of that too, because I do believe this is a pretty dated novel. Just gonna have a quick little check here. 1956. So I know some of you, I know my audience can vary on the older side sometimes. I just offended somebody. I'm very sorry. It is what it is. It was wrote 1956. I suggest reading it. It's still pretty good. And last but not least, this is my 18 plus book that I read, and I was very bamboozled and I did not like it. And I will tell you why. Honeysuckle, okay? I'll tell you why. I, at the time that this was recommended to me, had asked in multiple groups and felt multiple people for something very, very, very dark. I wanted very, very dark. I was told this contained a list of trigger warnings that were very dark. And I don't know where they are. And it doesn't matter. But here we are, okay? And like they piqued my interest. They did. I was like, great, I'm the monster stalker. All right. He's got tentacles instead of... Okay. Let me tell you, spoiler, maybe not spoiler, like it's not the novel, it's like, it's something that should have probably been included, like, maybe it was on the back, I don't even think I ever read the back, did I? No, I didn't, because it's all, I did, but it doesn't say this, because it's all from her point of view, it doesn't matter. It's a Fated Mates book. So by page 20 or so, she's like, okay. Which basically null and voids all of the trigger warnings when she's like, yeah, okay, I'll let him do whatever he wants. He's my mate. He can literally do whatever. It's not, and don't judge me. Don't judge me for saying that. If I want a dark read, I want a dark read. And if I want it to be C&C or non-consensual, then that's what I'm looking for. And if you tell me it's non-consensual, and then 20 pages in, she's like, that's my mate forever. He can do it. It's not what I signed up for. Anyway, it was okay. People are saying book 2 is better. How is book 2? They're fated mates. She wants anything and everything he gives her. Does it include some pretty out there stuff? Somebody's probably read this and they're like, girl, it had trigger warnings for a reason. Yeah, it did. But again, she was into it. So it null and voids a lot of them as far as like, is it a trigger or is she like, give it to me? I'm going to get myself demonetized immediately, and I'm trying to make a monetized video here. Okay, that's it. That's all we're going to say about that. If this is your thing and you're looking for like a cheesy monster romance with... then yeah, this is probably for you. I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I was biased going into it, but also I just didn't like it because it was read like a very cheesy romance with tentacles. I am writing a dark tentacle thing that has zero romance and a lot of dark. Poor Francesca. for Francesca. That'll be out later this year. Please stay tuned. Okay, I did talk about my books a little tiny bit. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me. I am officially over 1,000 subscribers and monetized, so if you could, please just like this video if you're here. It would help more people see it. If you comment anything below, it would help a lot too, but I'm not really going to be that person that's like, please on every video. I just wanted you guys to know that it is somewhere where this poor little indie author can finally maybe make a couple of bucks a month, and it would go a long way if you could just like my video. But again, if you don't want to, you can just scroll on by. Okay, guys, much love. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you in the next video.